if me and you were to have a fight, right, I'd beat you up, right?
Hold on.
Let me finish. I'm telling you now, he's going to have some rude awakening.
Another week goes by,
No, it doesn't.
and I'm still hungry. Not been a good few days for you, has it?
Why not?
Did you not see what happened to Lossiemouth? Your champion hurdle heroine.
Yeah, but...
Wasn't great, was it?
No.
Are we going to bring that up again?
I'm sure we are.
Do you know Richard Davies? You'd never heard of Richard Davies?
Does ring a bell, actually.
Are you sure you don't want to rethink? Can you not... I should have put this in the show. Have you not heard of Richard Davies?
Go on, keep going.
Okay. This was sent to me the other day, actually. This is the great thing about this show. This should be in the show now, but anyway, forget about that. This was entitled Fond Memories of Paddy's Determination from Richard Davies. Hi, Matt. Hope you're well. Just wanted to drop you a quick note to say how much I'm enjoying Unbridled. Fantastic show. Again, kind of messages thinking this is a sensible lad. Straight away, I thought this guy knows his stuff. I used to own the Mecca that was the 21 Club in Cheltenham.
Yeah, I know Richard Davies now, yeah.
Oh, you do know now. It comes to partying, you know him, yeah? Getting hammered after Cheltenham on a Tuesday night after the champion hurdle. I used to love the 21 Club. Used to love it in there.
It was good.
I had one or two hairy moments. In fact, with one trainer who went crazy and started punching people, but that's another story. Anyway.
Some stories went on in there, Matt.
Oh, yes.
If only them walls could talk.
Yeah.
And a few walls did actually talk, but keep going.
Yeah, I bet you could have done with your missus being a nurse in those days. But anyway, I used to own the Mecca that was the 21 Club in Cheltenham. Back in the day, we had a few horses that Paddy rode for us, even though Paddy couldn't remember you to start with. One particular memory sticks with me. Secret Tune. In the 2009 Scottish Champion Hurdle trained by Tom George, Paddy made 10 stone 2 that day, which was some effort, but we were just beaten in the final strides, finishing second. I'll never forget the scene when Paddy came back in. Absolutely raging and blinding, totally and utterly fuming. Probably the most off I've ever seen a jockey. Do you remember that?
I don't remember like it was yesterday, but yeah. I do. Distant memory, Matt.
He says, but of course he made amends in the next race winning the Scottish National on Hello Bud. Everyone had the double. Sadly, it went down.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the next race, definitely.
Yeah, he said Paddy was never one to mess with, but that day at Ayr summed him up. A great jockey with pure fire in his belly.
Thanks, Richard. Lovely.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. I'm a little lucky this isn't going out, seeing as you couldn't even remember the guy. Poor lad. Anyway, right, let's kick on. I just thought I'd read that to you. Episode 11, Unbridled. We've managed to make it, Paddy. Still in association with our sponsors, BoyleSports. Thank you very much for sticking with us. I mean, one episode we thought we'd be out, 5, iffy, 10.
Yeah.
Well, Brian Cooper saved us, to be honest. He was superb. And now we're up to episode 11. A lot has happened in the last few days. We just actually got to recap a few things, serious things, first of all. We record, as everyone knows, on a Wednesday morning, early, pardon me, on a Wednesday morning. The Aga Khan has passed away. 5 Derby winners: Shergar, Sharastani, Kayazi, Sindar, Harzand, and Oaks. 1,000 guineas, you remember Doyun. 4 Arcs: Akaida, Sindar, Dalakani and Zarkova. And 4 Breeders' Cup: Turs, Lashkari, Daylami, Kalanisi and Tanawa, most recently for Dermot Weld. If you're a horse racing fan, Pad, whether it's flat jumps, whatever, breeding, of course, masses of jumps horses have been bred by the Aga Khan over the years. Those green and red silks, the thing they epitomise was just class.
Yeah, absolutely. My early memories was when I was an apprentice for Jim Bulger, when you'd watch Johnny Murta leaving the weigh room for John Ox in them famous green colours. Yeah, massive, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for the whole family. His daughter, the princess, she You know what? When I was much, much younger, just starting in the game, when I saw her, I just thought she is the epitome of a princess. Just beautiful and charming. Just everything I want. I'm not, to be quite frank, princess. Anyway, lovely lady. So the Aga Khan has passed away. John Hales. Now, he owned good horses. Did you ever ride for... You wouldn't have ridden for John, would you? He had a good one.
I don't know if I ever stuck them colours on. Maybe at Paul Nicholls' but what? John Hales is a great man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about John Hales. All Day Children's Hospital in Liverpool. Every time I could when I rode in Aintree, you'd be there on I think it was a Friday morning, not a Saturday morning. He would never miss it. He'd have himself, Neptune Collonge would be there, spick and span with the groom, and he would just give all his time, and he'll be sadly missed. Big part of so many great horses, but to someone like him, you just say thanks for your time, and you'll be sadly missed.
And I want to give Joe Summerus Smith a mention. Of course, the former BHA chair. He has stood down. Everyone knows Joe has made it public that he's been suffering from cancer. That cancer has now spread. And the cancer that he's suffering from now is exactly the cancer that my old man got back in the day. So I absolutely know where he's coming from. Obviously, I don't know exactly how he's feeling, but I've experienced it in my family. And I think at this instance, you forget about BHA and stuff like that. Because what I liked about Joe was that he was visible. In all his tenure, he would be at the races almost every weekend. He'd be at the races. He would always talk to me, and not everyone at the BHA historically has wanted to do that. He would chat. He had the sport in his heart, and the best thing we can say to Joe is just keep battling away. And we wish him and his family and everyone all the love and stuff. And the racing family are thinking of them. That's all we can say.
Absolutely. Obviously, seen the story, and it's awful, and just thinking of him and his family, and really sad.
On a brighter note, Arthur Barrow was 80 this week. A lot of you won't remember Arthur Barrow. Martin Pipe does. He rang me last week. He said, give a mention to Arthur Barrow. Give a mention on the telly. Because Arthur was 80 yesterday, February the 4th. This week, and he trained a horse called Master Smudge, who was second to Tide Cottage in the 1980 Cheltenham Gold Cup. Tide Cottage absolutely hacked up, but was later disqualified on a technicality. And Master Smudge won it, and he was an amazing horse. He was bought from Gypsies for £312. He won the Sun Alliance Chase. He won a Mandarin Chase. He won one or two other big races. But Martin was telling me that he thinks, I haven't got this exactly, but he thinks Master Smudge ran over 100 times.
Bloody hell. That's a lot of races.
For a gold, I know he was sort of not a Gold Cup winner, but was a Gold Cup winner. But Galopin Deschamps, I think, was running for 21 or 22 times the other day. Best Mate ran about 5 times. Gold Cup horses do not run over 100 times.
No.
So he's worth them. He's an extraordinary story. And everyone who met Arthur, or could still meet Arthur, actually, because he's still with us. Everyone who meets Arthur just seems to think he's a great, fun lad. It almost maybe tempted me to get him on the show, but I haven't. So that's the messages out at the start. We need to have a look back at the weekend, Pad. So much to talk about. Let's get the big gun out of the way straight of all. Galopin Deschamps. What did you make of Galopin Deschamps? He won the big race.
Yeah, he was awesome, wasn't he, really? Fact of file changed tactics a little bit, but Galopin was in control all the way. His jump at the second last was incredible.
Yeah. The thing is, he's tactically, I think, like John Bon, he's bomb-proof tactically. Like, if nutters go off, he can sit, as he did in the Gold Cup last year. Actually, he sat in mid-div for the early part and then eventually came through. Or, if there's no pace, because he stays forever. This is a horse who stays 20 miles, not just 3 and a bit. And that's his strong suit, isn't it? He just grinds away. Yeah,
he's a warrior. But, look, he's become so straightforward, but that didn't happen overnight. In his younger days, he was probably a bit keen. he just seems to love it up near the front with a bit of room, and yeah, he's push button stuff. He was a joy to watch, and hell of a horse.
Everyone's going crazy about him. I know this sounds like I'm just blowing my own trumpet here, but I said this straight after the John Durkin. You know, people were going on about new kids on the box, Spillane Tower, Factor File. I still cannot understand. I think he was 5-2, 11-4 after that. I told everyone, take the 5-2, take the 11-4, because for some reason people were judging him on being a 2 mile 3 furlong horse, which is the trip of the John Durkin. It is a really weird one. I mean, you imagine Kyprios running over in the Nunthorpe and everyone saying, well, he's not going to win the Ascot Gold Cup now. He's just been beaten in the Nunthorpe. You wouldn't say it, would you?
Well, I did, and you were right on this occasion.
You've been wrong a lot in this show so far. 11 episodes. Have you been right any time?
What?
Well, there was that bumper horse of Nichols's you got right.
What do you make of Factor File?
Okay, I think there's 2 angles to Factor File.
Well, I've got one, but go on, give me yours. Go on.
Okay. 1, he's not as good as everyone wants him to be. Or 2, he's not a strong stayer. Those are my 2 angles in. What's yours?
And what race would you run him in?
I'd run him in the Cheltenham Gold Cup because I couldn't care less about the Ryanair.
Yeah, well, I just think...
Don't tell me you won it on Imperial Commander and then you went on to win the Gold Cup.
No. I just think, right, Factor File, right, Galopin de Champs. If me and you were to have a fight, right, I'd beat you up, right? Let's say I beat you up. Okay. So then we had another fight.
Hold on.
Let me finish.
You would be taking on someone in the heavyweight division.
Right, well, let me finish. So
you, in the bantamweight, against a heavyweight, you obviously are a nutter, and you would scare the you-know-what out of me for the build-up. But if I land one blow from this 65-stone stomach, you are gone.
Right,
you are gone, son.
You ain't landing any blow. So let me finish before you speak again. So we go in, me and you, I fight you, I beat you, yeah? Then you come back, a bit more tan, a bit more gel, and then, you know, you've changed a few things, and then I beat you again. You know, the third time, you'd be thinking, right, probably don't want to be getting into the ring with him again. And I think that is the situation Factor File's going to find himself in. But the way this Gold Cup's looking, will we ever have seen a shorter price favourite?
He will be very short. I don't have that statistic to my mind, so you caught me out there. I mean, Arkle must have been very short in Gold Cups back in the day. Best Mates, third, must have been short. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Incidentally, if you want to go for head punches, because if you do go for the belly, you just bounce off. It doesn't matter how hard you hit it, boing, it'll be like hitting a bouncy ball.
Well, I've just given you an example of probably what would happen.
Yeah.
But
no. You know what?
Galopin de Champs could become, if let's say Factor File runs in the Ryanair, which you're looking at the people involved, you'd be leaning that way. That's where he'd be heading. Banbridge going for the Gold Cup, right? I heard yesterday. So Factor File will go for the Ryanair. Like, you'd be nearly tempted. I'd be tempted to bring Chase the Spud back out of retirement to run the Gold Cup the way it's going to be looking. You're going to have Galopin de Champs, could end up being 1-5 if you take Factor File out. It really, Matt, that'll be something we won't ever witness. We say you see bad Gold Cups. Drives me mad. Oh, bad Gold Cup. Try and win it. Try and win it. Go ahead.
You saying this isn't a bad Gold Cup then?
I am.
So it is a bad Gold Cup.
But I'm still saying it's not going to be easy. You still got to go and win it.
Well, it has to be easier than if it's a good Gold Cup.
No, Matt, I know, but you've got to find yourself in a situation where you walk yourself into a race like this for Galopin de Champs. It seems to be falling around him a little bit. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but so Arkle was 1-10 in 1966.
Was he, yeah?
1966. I just looked that up.
And obviously we had the news of the Gordon Elliott horse unfortunately sustained an injury. He's out for the season. Jerry Colum. Factor File could go for the Ryanair.
Lombrese is going to run at Ascot possibly before, which might mean he doesn't actually even go.
You're going to have Banbridge, Grey Dawning, who I was lucky enough to ride out the other day. Got to get that in for Tom Messenger. And, you know, suddenly, Matt, you're looking at 6 runners.
So here's one for you. Novices, have run in Gold Cups before, yeah? They've won them. Conagry recently. Gloria Victus, lightly raced for Pipey, sadly lost his life in the Gold Cup, but ran really well up to a point. Here's a question for you. We've gone off on a tangent here, but that's the show. If Ballyburn wasn't trained by Willie Mullins, could you have a go at the Gold Cup with him? And if Sir Gino wasn't in the same camp as John Bon, would you consider the champion chase for Sir Gino? If he's going to run in the game spirit against Edwardstone, well, we know Edwardstone's not going to win the champion chase unless a lot fall over, but he's going to probably finish 4th or 5th in a champion chase. If Sir Gino whipped his arse at Newbury at the weekend, could you consider him for the champion chase? Like, is there a problem with novices in these big races?
There's absolutely no problem, but by the rule, which a lot of people go by, that doesn't happen. So, no.
But isn't that just because racing is so stuck in its ways?
Yeah, a little bit, but...
All of you racing lot, you're
don't
just stuck, aren't you? You just, grandfather did this, so we've got to do it.
You don't want to make a massive mistake either when you look talking about Ballyburn throwing him into a Gold Cup 3 mile 2 furlongs. Big changes. You just give him the time to get there. That's my opinion. Might not be worth anything.
Well, it's worth something. That's why you're on the show.
Some may say so. What we got next there, Matt?
6-time Cheltenham Festival winning jockey, you.
Great days.
Okay. Galopin shot. He's going to win the Cheltenham Gold Cup unless he falls over. We know that. Majborough. Did he enhance his reputation in the Grade 1 novice chase, or did he just win?
He just won for me. He made a few novice mistakes. You can forgive him for that. I'd say he learned plenty. But yeah, he just won. He won well. I don't think he's a Sir Gino, do you?
I don't know. I go back to the Triumph Hurdle, when after the Triumph Hurdle, Willie Mullins seemed shocked that the horse had managed to even really win over hurdles, because he was always a chaser. And the other thing, I'd always just put a proviso in here, that there are Mullins horses that don't always look absolute worldies that suddenly turn up at the Cheltenham Festival and they win hard hell by distances. I just think he is a brilliant trainer for readying them for those days in March.
He needs no introduction for that. He readies them for most months, but if Sir Gino had been in the Triumph, maybe things would have been different.
Now, we must mention our kind sponsors, who have only had a couple of mentions so far, so we should give them some more, because we need them to be kind sponsors, well, until we die, really, don't we, Pat? If this could just go on for the next 35, 40 years, that would see us through, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? Can you imagine having to sit? Christ, look at you
I
for
can't
the next
imagine
40
that.
years.
Can't imagine.
Anyway, it's going to take 40 years till you take me to dinner, so might as well keep going till that happens. No mention, incidentally, people out there, once again, at the dinner. Nothing. Nada.
There
zilch.
is.
Another week goes by,
No, it doesn't.
and I'm still hungry, and I'm not happy. Thought you were a man of your word. You said, I'm a man of my word.
I have spoke to Michael Buckley. It is under control. That doesn't necessarily mean you're coming.
Tempted to ring Buckers and see if he's made any contact recently. Thought you spoke to him at Cheltenham a long time ago. It's been a
week ago. No,
a lot of water under the bridge since then. Anyway, thank you to our kind sponsors, BoyleSports, who have pushed out Majborough to 11-4 from 9-4 for the Arkle. It would start to begin to tempt you on what could end up being a match.
Well, listening to you, look, you've got a bit of belief there in him. I think Sir Gino, can't wait to see him out this weekend. I wouldn't.
I believe in Mullins, you see. It's not so much him, Mullins.
When you see Ballyburn winning a Dublin Racing Festival, you just start to realise how good that Sir Gino could actually be.
Okay. Final demand. I mean, we had two novices, didn't we? We'll get on to the Kopek de Bordes in a minute. But final demand, 12-length winner of the Nathaniel Lacey, anti-post favourite for the Turners and Albert Bartlett. The one thing, well, actually, no, I'm not going to say anything before you say. So, what did you make of final demand?
Yeah, I thought he was good. Beautiful looking horse, real chaser in the making, isn't he? Typical Willie Mullins. Very fit, knew he was keen enough, but didn't seem to matter. He was very good. I wouldn't have been completely there was others there that I would have been blown away by. Yes, he's gone into favour for for Cheltenham, solid. But the new Lion is still strong in my eye.
Yeah, we still don't really know where he's going, do we? The new Lion might have gone.
Well,
back
I think after what I seen at Dublin Festival, I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah. Should we try Skelton quickly? Just ask him. We might not get anything, but because it's a difficult time of day. But let's just quickly try him. I just want that. Here we go. Let's hope he doesn't want to charge for this. Here we go. Hold on.
Oh, I think you might not get him today.
Oh, really?
He's galloping horses.
Oh, that would be shocking, wouldn't it? Not to answer Unbridled on a Wednesday.
I know. I think he's busy.
Oh, sounds busy, doesn't he? Useless. Oh well, save myself a few quid anyway. Right. We might come back to him in a minute. He might ring back. You never know. They sometimes do. Okay. I want to ask you, Pat, because this is where your expertise comes in. The pace into the first hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival compared to the pace into the first hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival.
Yeah, I don't see a massive variation there. They don't. There was no hanging around in Dublin Racing Festival. I certainly didn't think so, but not massive. Look, you will get the odd occasion where they're going slow, but I didn't think there'd be a massive difference. Obviously, the Supreme is that roar and stuff, but no, not massive there. I didn't think.
Okay, let's move on to Sunday then. You mentioned Ballyburn. Obviously, looked a different horse. I know you've said the form holds up, but no one's judging Ballyburn by a 2 mile form around Kempton anymore, are they? Really? He was just completely out of his comfort zone at that track.
2 mile at Kempton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but still, even over that trip, Matt, he's no mug. He didn't jump great at Kempton, and probably that was the pace of the race. But yeah, he was a lot better on Sunday, and he's working his way to. He's getting better and better. So yeah, he was good.
What I love most about him was his final 50 yards. More than anything else in the whole race, like up that run in, powered away.
Yeah, he was good.
Okay, you don't sound that excited. I mean, I've seen you more excited when I've walked in and said good morning before. Ballyburn doesn't seem to be rocking your boat.
He's got a bit to go yet, Matt. He really does. I think he can jump better. He did jump better, but he can get even better. I don't look at him ever and think he's unbeatable.
You did over hurdles though, didn't you?
Well, we never spoke about him over hurdles. I wasn't say here.
Well, what did you think of him over hurdles then? If you're going to be,
if
you're going to start being like that.
I could only speak him out of over hurdles. He looked awesome, to be honest. But he hasn't.
So I was right.
He hasn't looked to me as awesome over fences. Yes, he's good. He's winning, but he's still got a long way to go.
Okay, Boyle put him out to 9-4 from 7-4 for the Brown Advisory. If you fancy Ballyburn, get on to our friends at BoyleSports and smash into their 9-4. Right, State Man against Lossiemouth. You say Lossiemouth is the greatest hurdler there's ever been. You said she beat Constitution Hill at Kempton. You were wrong. You said she beat State Man at Leopardstown. You were wrong. When are you going to start to admit that you're wrong?
Oh, I was gutted for her, honestly. I was gutted. I was so pleased she got up.
Like a politician you are.
When she jumped off, though, I was a little bit surprised with the tactics. That was one place I didn't expect to see her.
No, I didn't either.
I was, bloody hell, she's making the run in, and obviously Paul was on her. He wasn't giving her a second, and they were trapping. When she came down, Matt, she came down at speed. Look, she's got up. She's a bit stiff and sore, but thankfully she's okay. It's not ideal, is it, Matt? Not ideal.
Rich Ritchie tells me that she appears to be fine, absolutely fine. But he said, this was his words, I reckon it will be a Sunday morning shout in March. Obviously, you declare for the champion hurdle on Sunday morning, and the mayor's hurdle, to be fair, because they're both on the same day, aren't they?
You'd have to say, Matt, the declare button on Sunday could be Lossiemouth goes one way and Brighter Days Ahead goes the other.
Do you think that might be in their head as much as Constitution Hill being healthy, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. Sunday morning, and we'll have, you'll have to wait till then, but I have a feeling Brighter Days Ahead will run the champion hurdle. You said I've never been right yet, haven't you?
No, you have. You got the Nichols bumper horse right.
Right, but most things.
That was in episode 1.
So let's see how my prediction goes there.
God's honest truth. I know we have some fun with this. I really don't think it matters. Because Constitution Hill
Matt, stop.
is the best jumper of a hurdle I have ever seen. The quickest, the slickest, the best travellingest, the best respondingest now, having at Kempton been rousted and picked up the run-in. So I really doesn't matter where any of these run, because they will not beat Constitution Hill unless Nico does a cue card, like he tried to do at Cheltenham the other day. Even when Nico tried to deck him, he still couldn't bring down the champion. He's that good a champion. The champion found a leg.
You got your point, Matt, but it'd be a great race if Brighter Days Ahead runs or Lossiemouth.
State Man, 11 Grade 1s, which is the same number as Faheen, although obviously Faheen was a monster and a machine. This is my theory with State Man, yeah? So Willie Mullins doesn't seem to have a weakness, but I've spotted his weakness. He gets a thing for certain horses, and he it's tunnel vision. He can't get out of it. Him, Patrick, the missus, probably Walsh, definitely Casey's in the mix as well. They're all this mafia group, but they have a weakness. They get a thing for a horse. They had it with Hurricane Fly. Faheen was never going to be able to beat Hurricane Fly. They were wrong. And I think they've got a thing for State Man. They think he's better than he is. That's my theory with State Man.
He hasn't done too bad. How many Grade 1s has he won?
I just said 11. Thanks for listening.
11.
Yeah.
But I think...
Isn't he one of the biggest overachievers in the history of National Hunt racing?
You could be. No, let me finish.
How have you turned this around on me?
You could be. But State Man, to give you your little point on Constitution Hill.
Hold on, are you saying I'm an overachiever? Everyone who knows me says I've underachieved all my life, and you're saying now I'm an overachiever.
You said State Man could be.
Oh.
I'm saying you could be.
Oh, right, but I'm not, am I? Because I'm not Nick.
But...
I try.
Your point on Constitution...
I'll never be lucky.
You want to put Constitution Hill in the same race, right? Constitution Hill is going to beat State Man.
I feel a bit depressed now.
He's going to beat State Man. We know that's going to happen. We need Brighter Days Ahead.
We do.
Come on, Michael. Give your Ryanair flights an easy day. Leave them on the ground. Stick her in the champion hurl.
You upset me now.
Sorry, you've upset me enough now. Come on, next question.
Don't know. Feel episode 11 could be it. Time to pack it up. Kopek des Bordes, isn't he the 2 mile equivalent to Final Demand? I think what you said about Final Demand was absolutely spot on. But I also think the same with Kopek des Bordes. He looks like a big chaser in the making as well.
Yeah, he looks... Now, he did blow me away. He was awesome. Like, you've been to Leopardstown. You've been to Leopardstown?
I'm not even going to answer that question.
Have you walked the track?
I'm not even going to answer that question.
Well, can you answer some question? Have you walked the track?
For about 15 years of my life, I presented racing in Ireland.
Did you walk the track?
I crawled round the track on occasions.
Well, what he did in Dublin Racing Festival isn't normal. He was keen. He did a lot of things with the choke out. He's come up that hill like he's just jumped in. He's a serious horse. Now, the only issue they'll have with him at Cheltenham is just keeping the lid on him. Preliminaries, on the way to the start. I don't know what price he is, but he's valued even money to me.
I tell you what, I'm going to try Dan Skelton. Obviously, he's a wrong one, isn't he? Dan. Now, I just want to try Twisty, Sam, see if he answers. Because Potter's Charm...
That won't be running against him.
Well, I'd run him against him. But let's see if Sammy... See if I... Morning. Oh! I'm so relieved you've answered, Sammy, because I tried Skelton earlier and he didn't answer, but I'm a bit worried he wanted 20 quid or something, so at least... That's all gone now, I'm only joking. How are you, Sammy?
Good form. Me and the boss are on the way to Chadsley Corbett. Great initiative. They've got loads of those schooling races on, so...
Okay.
Good idea.
When you say the boss, I'm presuming you mean Nigel rather than Willie, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Morning, Nigel.
Hello, young man. Are you all right?
Very, very good. Not often I get called young man these days. But appreciate that. Paddy's in the studio as well, boring me senseless about Imperial Commander.
Well, those were great days.
Well, actually, Nigel, we haven't spoken to you at all about Paddy. What genuinely, how relieved are you that you have a son like Sam who is, the dog's you-know-what, and you don't have to put up with Paddy anymore?
Well, Paddy was always a little bit tricky, but not too bad.
Potters, it's all gone quiet since the defeat at Cheltenham. We've just been talking about Kopek this board, and for me, Potters is like the new Lion. If he ran in the Supreme, it wouldn't worry me at all. Do we have a definitive plan still for Potter's Charm?
Definitely. He goes to the Turners.
Turners 2.5. And Sammy, you were a bit frustrated. I mean, you said this publicly that he ran at Cheltenham last time. Did we just forget that run?
Honestly, put a line for it. I didn't explain it better, but a horse will give you a feel on so many days of the year, and he jumped off, went 3 hurdles. I was like, not that happy, so then ended up switching out. I just never got the same feel I'd had off of him for any of his other runs. So, although it's still bumped into still a very nice horse, still pulled well clear of the rest of the pair of us, I'm telling you, he's the better horse than that.
So we don't ignore Potter's Charm. And Nigel, you just rev him up now like only you can, yeah?
That's it, yeah. Years ago, that very same race, the new one was beat at Cheltenham, and he came and won was Alliance then. So yes, that tune then, wasn't it? Or whatever it was. Anyway, we did it.
You did it. Well, that's good news. Potters will be back. Matata still going for the champion chase?
Well, he's got a bit of a trial on Sunday, so that's
Yeah, he runs in the game spirit.
That's it.
Yeah. Has he surprised you a little bit, Nigel?
Well, he definitely surprised me at Windsor, but then I have question marks about the other horses. Did they actually turn up? In a way, how can he at his age suddenly put up a £10 better performance? So that's my question.
Maybe it's now just JJ, because of course when Darryl was on Matata, remember that day at Lingfield when he took out Mr. Chewy, tried to deck Matata? I mean, thank goodness JJ's on board now.
Yeah, JJ did a lovely job.
That was so diplomatic. It was so... You can just imagine Sam sitting there with a smile going, yeah, thank God, but say nothing, Nigel, say nothing.
He nearly got left on the side of the motorway.
Look, we'll leave you in peace, lads. Thanks so much for answering the phone.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Drive carefully, and remember, when you get there, don't park in the disabled space.
Well done.
Cheers, Sammy. Cheers, Nigel.
Bye-bye.
Right. So, you were right. I think you were right, weren't you? I can't actually remember what you said.
Yeah, I didn't say he'd run. We were on about Corback, yeah.
Yeah, so he's not going to go back to 2 miles anyway. I thought he might.
No.
But then this Kopek, the boards. So I tell you one other thing with Kopek is I love the owners. I love the fact this guy's got 4 sons. They seem to be, it's not a McManus, it's not a Rich Ritchie, it's not a Jigginsdown. It's someone that has been in racing a long time, but not everyone knows about, and just seems to be loving it.
So he's having a few phone calls, wouldn't you, Matt?
Oh, yeah, he'll be having one off this show if he could get his number.
No, but can you imagine the offers to be looking at there?
I don't think he needs money.
I don't know, just saying.
Although there's always a limit, isn't there? There's always... I mean, Kopek to board, if you wanted to sell him now, what would you say? 1.2 million?
Sure, anywhere over there.
You're trying to buy a Gold Cup horse. 1.2? 1 million?
When you see foals going for 4 million that are meant to win a derby and they could be no good, sure.
Yeah, but there's a breeding aspect there.
Yeah, but...
This is a big fat gelding.
1.5 there.
1.5?
If you want to buy a Cheltenham winner.
Paddy Brennan Racing Club going to go in?
Would you get 10? Do you want to share?
I'll give it a miss. Right, Solness. Are you a believer or are you not?
Great ride. Danny Mullins put them to the sword. Am I a believer? Is John Bond going to be worried by him? Probably not.
He went very fast and then he slowed down a lot. He broke the hearts of a lot. Gaelic Warrior never put in the race, as far as I could see.
Well, I don't know about putting the race, but he never looks in. He never just doesn't look to be happening for him at the minute, does it?
No. It's funny because, as Willie said afterwards, at one point I thought he was going to pull up. Then he started to run on.
Yeah.
It was only Paul could really tell us how he was feeling, because presumably he was feeling crap for the most of the first half of the race. What about blinkers on him? He's not going to win a champion chase unless he sparks his mojo up, is he? He needs blinkers. He needs something to make him faster.
I heard one good story about Willie when it comes to blinkers. A jockey said to Willie once, we put blinkers on this, and Willie says, you need to go to the gym. I'm not sure he believes in blinkers. So I don't think you'll be seeing them on Gaelic Warrior anytime soon.
14-1 from 10, Solness for the champion chase. That's with our friends at Bordes. To be honest, if you wanted an each-way bet against John Bond, 14-1, there's no way. I don't think Solness will be 14-1 on the day. That's not the worst boost of all time, I don't think.
This champion chase is going to be different for that John Bond. I'm telling you now.
Oh, don't start.
I'm telling you now. He's going to have some rude awakening. He's going to have a lot of pace in the race and get up there and give him a little bump and put manners on him. He's not like if there's ever a day he could be beaten, it's in the champion chase.
I even heard on other various outlets this week that because he jumped badly in the Clarence House, he's a bad jumper at Cheltenham when he's won round there, jumping perfectly okay. Like he can't jump. It's like the nonsense that's spewed out about this horse.
I think Nico probably makes him look a bit better jumper than he actually is. Good and positive on him. Squeezing him down all the time. He knows him. He gets on very well with him. Nico.
Oh, but the counter to that is, I think, that he jumped really well for Aidan Coleman as well back in the day. But this horse, I think, is just matured.
Yeah, but he has got the odd mistake in him. Look, Matt, he's a hell of a horse. We don't need to be knocking we don't need to be giving John Bon any plaudits here. He's been unbelievable. But as I say, the champion chase, suddenly there's going to be a lot of pace. He mightn't just be able to get it as comfortable as he normally has.
See, I think it's just what he wants.
Maybe.
It's just like the dream pacemaker, isn't it? What do you need? If you have a top-class racehorse, Paddy, what kind of pacemaker do you need?
Have you ever sulked in your life, Matt?
I think I'm about to.
Well, that's what John Bon do when he's not upsides in front, just finding it nice and easy.
I'm not a sulker. I've never been a sulker. I can be annoying. I can talk as if I'm angry when in fact I'm just talking. But I've never been a sulker, ever.
You did enough sulking when you got the job lost on that dancing on the ice, didn't you? Sulking like a baby, right? Next question there, Matt.
I did. But then my agent rang me up and said, okay, this is bad, but they're going to pay you for all the episodes. I tell you, I didn't sulk after that.
Right, we didn't know about that. Yeah.
No, exactly. I was spring-heeled.
Well, yeah.
I was gutted though. I did sulk. I don't think I sulked. I was upset. It's different, Patrick.
Right. I love a bit of anger. I won there. I won. You know, just getting that anger. That's all I ever wanted to do in that weigh room or as a jockey. Just make someone angry. Just to make myself feel better. So thank you for that, Matt. I just got a little bit of, what's that word you use in the body? It's just, inner feeling of satisfaction.
Hello Neighbour, Gavin Cromwell, Juvenile.
Yeah, he was good. Travelled well, did it well. La Lumba, can't get away from him. The more I watch juveniles, the better he gets. You pronounce it. I love that horse, man.
Yeah. Do you remember a guy called Rich Davis?
Yeah.
Handstands. Beat Django Bay. I thought this was a cracking horse race. If you're just watching the race and at home or whatever on the track, it was a great battle. Handstands on Django Bay, Ciliars, Ben Pauling, Grade 1 winner on the back of the Duke's box man. There was a lovely story in that. Gonna miss Cheltenham, probably go to Aintree. I thought it was a good race. What did you feel?
Yeah, you know what? Handstands has done so well, and he's always gone in as the underdog. He really has, and he's come out on top in a good race at Foss last, and then again at Sandown. Great to watch, great battle. Nico de Chastel came up a bit short in that one, didn't he?
Hold on. You're not blaming Nikolai for the defeat of Django Bay, are you?
I'm saying he came up a bit short.
Well, would you have lifted it home? Bumping up and down on the saddle with your bottom. You actually froze then. People watching or listening on Spotify right now, they're thinking, what's happened? They think you've just disappeared.
Do you know what? I used to love getting in a battle like that, man. I used to try everything. used to try everything. I stuck my arm out once to receive a hit from another jockey. Just did that, so he'd hit me, not the horse. Desperate people do desperate things, and that's how desperate I was to win.
The problem is, of course, though, you did it on occasions like up at Aintree, and Davy Russell still came and did you right on the line.
Which one was that?
The one you drew that you should have won. You were too weak. Davy was too strong.
But anyway, going back to handstands, Ben Pauling pulling Grade 1 winners out this season. That's his second one. Can't knock that.
No. He's an admirable horse, this. I don't know how good he is, but he's admirable. He stays, he tries. He's just a decent animal. You know what I would like to see him in next season? Handstands.
Go on.
The race at Newbury that was once known as the Hennessy.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
It always gets harder for them a second season novice.
What the hell? That's what that race is designed for.
Let me just speak. He's won a 4-runner race at Sandown to go into a 24-runner race in Newbury. It's a big... Something like a Halden Gold Cup for me would be a good starting point next year.
You know who's going for that?
Go on.
Khalif de Burle. That's what Nichols said to me the other day. He said, put him away, run at Aintree, put him away, Halden Gold Cup.
Yeah,
I'd rather go for the Newbury race than take on Khalif de Burle round the Exeter, whatever.
It's a long way away, but anyway, that was... Yeah, Khalif de Burle. He's got an unusual way of jumping him, hasn't he? He doesn't bend. He jumps a bit like that. He doesn't do that. He does that.
Ooh, Khalif.
Yeah.
Doesn't bend.
He doesn't. He doesn't arch. Like, he doesn't. You watch him jump. He's doing that all the time.
What, like Concord?
Yeah. You'd like to see him making a bit of a better shape. He's using a lot of energy the way he jumps.
Okay.
It's easier for him to just come up on a longer stride.
Do you think Nichols should school him better?
I don't know. Some horses just that's the way the jumps. There's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, school him all you want.
Okay, so would you step Django Bay up to 3 miles at Cheltenham and roll the dice? Henderson said he definitely would have run in the 2.5 mile turners if it existed. He's not qualified to run in the turners. That is an issue, incidentally, that I think it's absolute nonsense, all this. You have to run so many times.
How many times is it for the
I don't know.
Is it 4 or 5?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who cares? It's just nonsense. Because if let's say you've got a really good novice hurdler from last season, you get injured.
Yeah.
And he comes back 6 weeks before the Cheltenham Festival, and he's a 2.5 mile chaser. He can't run.
But what is their reasons for having to run 5 times?
Well, because people deceive the handicapper. But I'd rather have a few plots win from time to time than not have the horses in the race they should be in.
You just got to be careful with that, or you just get people running and pulling up after a circuit. Do you know what I mean? Now, where does that? I don't get it.
But what's the problem with pulling up after a circuit?
Nothing, but that's what'll start happening if they keep going up. If they go up any more than 5 times, then you have to run 6. Like, how many times do you want someone to run?
Yeah, I agree. It's pointless. It's absolutely, yeah, sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying there. Yeah, absolutely. Like, restricting horses from running, for me, is a route you do not want to go down.
But I love an entry book, Matt, and I love entries, and there's always an angle. There's so many people can get caught out on an entry, or I can see a horse entered today and I can look straight away and I go, that's not qualified. Do you know what I mean? Because they'll miss that little small print of you have to have run or you can't have won last season. There's always an angle in placing horses, and I just think that's madness. 5 times, crazy.
And I'm happy for people to write comments shouting me down with what I'm about to say, and there will be some who do it. I know that because that's the nature of the beast. But for me, you are ruling out one of the great interests of this game, which is landing gambles, landing plots. Like, when we talk about racing historically, like you talk to Mick Fitz, that day I landed the whatever for Tony Martin. You know what I mean? Like, landing plots is something that becomes historical. And we're ruling out. Were you ever I mean, I can't believe anyone risked you on it, but like, were you ever on a big gamble that you knew about that was being punted off the boards?
Yeah, I was one day at Suddle. David Brace.
they picked one of the major meetings.
I had one ride at Suddle. It was 14 or 20 to 1, and Dave Roberts was a very hard man to get hold of. I was thinking, what is he sending me to Suddle on a Monday to ride this? It had more duck eggs, or wherever it was, Anyway, suddenly I'm on the car on the way racing, and I had a message: your horse has been backed. Anyway, I was backed into favourite and it won by a hurl. So that was one but I didn't know about it.
Did you get anything?
I did, yeah. Starbucks coffee and a ham and cheese croissant on the way there.
I love that. I love Starbucks ham and cheese croissants.
It's one of my biggest sadness since I retired. I don't get them anymore. I don't, unless I just drive to Starbucks. I ain't driving past one, Matt.
I've got to give my, as you've just mentioned it, I've got to give my other half, GV, a message here because it was my birthday this week, and
didn't we know about it? But go on.
She made me the best croque monsieur for my birthday breakfast that I've ever had.
What's that?
It's like a toast with cheese and ham on top and in the middle, melted, crispied on top.
I like that.
It's the kind of thing you get in the Champs-Élysées in Paris, yeah?
Nice.
It was perfect.
Mm.
I loved
I
it.
can smell it now.
Everyone listening to this right now is thinking, who hasn't had a croque monsieur recently, who's not allergic to cheese and ham, is thinking, you know what? I haven't had a croque monsieur for ages. I would love, but they won't have one as well as I was made. We could have started a shop. Honestly, it was that good. Okay, let's talk about the weekend. Actually, before we do, I just wanted to mention one thing because our audience were brilliant last week. They interact, Paddy. Most of them say nice things, although there was one that said this podcast would be really good if Chapman wasn't on it. But we want to just say thank you for getting involved with the DRF picks in the YouTube comments. We're giving away another Unbridled cap. Another one. I didn't know there were two. So we want one Cheltenham Festival favourite that you will be taking on in March. Put it below in the comments. One Cheltenham Festival favourite you'll be taking on in March. Paddy's will be John Bon and Constitution Hill. Those will both hack up. But if you've got one, then you go into the mix for the Unbridled cap. Which would be yours?
At Cheltenham Festival?
Yeah, one.
John Bon.
John Bon. Okay. Mine would be Final Demand.
Right. Interesting.
I just think he might be more of a chaser. He just looked like a brute to me. Might be something to outspeed him, even in a staying race. But then he might have had it won by halfway. Who knows? So, Pad, there aren't many jockeys out there who are world class that you haven't told how they should be riding. But I guess today, I don't think you could tell anything because his skill is so natural. This man has everything that you probably didn't have in the saddle. It's Jack Kennedy. Hello, Jack. Welcome to Unbridled.
Hi, lads. How are you going?
Really, really privileged to have you on the show today. 12-time Cheltenham Festival winner. Are you 25 still, Jack?
Yeah.
25. And he's got 12 on the board, Pad. And without injuries, would have a lot more. Just in a nutshell, how good is Jack Kennedy?
Jack needs no introduction. Jack Kennedy is probably, as we said a few shows back, he's the Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo of Ireland.
The Leona Messi?
Whatever he's called.
Lionel
Messi. Jack just makes all the hard stuff look easy. You know, you watch him, he's always in control. And he has always been that way from a very, very, very young age. He's still obviously very young, but no, it's racing needs Jack Kennedy in the saddle, and it'd be good to see him back.
Jack, of course, you can only show all that skill if you're riding, and we know injuries have been hard. You're currently talking to us outside your physio, having broken your leg for the 6th time. That was back in, November of last year. I mean, you're about to go in the physio, so tell us, how are things progressing?
Yeah, they're going well. Physio's happy with it, and the surgeon is happy with it. So coming along nicely now. So I'm back to the hospital on the 25th of this month, and hopefully I'll know plenty more then.
So I messaged Michael O'Leary of Jigginstown House Stud fame earlier on. He said, please, because I was wondering if we could try and get a quick call with him. Michael is in Vienna going to Lisbon as we speak right now. But he's going to have a big luggage bill if he's doing that. Anyway, He said, wish Jack good luck. Hope he's back in time for Cheltenham, with 2 fingers crossed emojis. He does like his emojis, Michael O'Leary. What you don't want is a cup of tea emoji. But anyway, that's another story. But Jack, is it realistic then? If you're seeing the doc at the end, is in the back of your mind now, are you thinking this might just be on?
Obviously, I suppose in my own head, it is, yeah, but I suppose I was that way 2 years ago as well, and I didn't make it. But I seem to be in a lot better place this time. I'm a lot further along, so hopefully, anyway, fingers crossed.
I mean, we've no idea your situation right now. Like, if you were just to get out of the car now, do you walk into physio perfectly okay, sort of thing?
Yeah, I do. Small bit of a limp, but I think I've had that anyways from one of the other breaks. But yeah, no, I'm off the crutches and things now. So yeah, it's kind of physio starting to ramp up a bit now. Yeah,
I remember hearing you say somewhere that almost this time you're just not thinking about that return. That psychologically for you, you just have to accept this is time out, and when the comeback time comes, in the back of your mind, you can't think it's Cheltenham or it's Aintree or it's Punchestown, whatever. It's just that's the time to come back.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe I think it might have stood to me this time. Not to be worrying about things too much. I kind of accepted it fairly early on, so it was a case of whatever happens, and I know I haven't made Cheltenham yet, but it's looking like I hopefully could. Whereas I suppose 2 years ago, I was probably just completely in denial about the whole thing. I was never going to make Cheltenham, but I wasn't really accepting it. Yeah.
Do you watch all the racing?
I do. Yeah.
How does that feel when Brighter Days Ahead was skipping round? Do you take that well, or I mean, obviously you're going to say you want the team to win and all that. Whatever the truth is behind the scenes, who knows? Only you do. But are you a good watcher, or is there a bit of you inside that just goes, "Oh,
Matt, there's always
mine."
There's always going to be a bit. Of course, he'd want to be riding, but he's in a privileged position where there is absolutely no doubt if he's fit, he will get back on them horses, and that he will answer this question in a second. But that you're in a slightly better place in them circumstances.
Something, of course, Paddy, you never had. Is that right, Jack? Has Paddy nailed it there?
Yeah. Well, I suppose nothing's ever certain about getting back on them, but you'd be hoping you would anyway. But there's kind of 2 sides that obviously you're sickened to be missing them, but then obviously you want them to go and perform like that, because if it is the case, hopefully you are getting back on them. You want to be getting back on good horses. So it's kind of 2 sides to it, but yeah, it is a bit sickening when you're missing out on them. Yeah.
And one you obviously would want to come back for is Brighter Days Ahead. You want to come back for all of them. It's fair to say that right from day one, even after she got beaten in various races, you have always felt that she is really special, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I've always loved her. Yeah. Not really sure how. I know it wasn't my finest moment in Cheltenham, but still not sure how she got beat. But yeah, I know she's a lovely mare, and she's plenty of talent. Yeah.
With the benefit of hindsight, what would you have done differently?
I'd have let her on. She was a bit keen, and I tried to get her settled rather than just letting her stride along. But I suppose then you've the other side of it. She probably didn't look too comfortable in front in the Morgiana, and maybe it might have got her beat as well if I had to let her on in Cheltenham. So yeah, so I suppose there's 100 different things you could try, but that's what we went with on the day, and it didn't work.
Michael says They won't make any decision on which race she runs in at Cheltenham till the week before. Says we'll see how she is then. I'm not even going to ask. It's pointless asking which race, isn't it? Because you're not going to say which race you'd want her in, are you, Jack, or are you?
No. Once I'm on her on the Tuesday at Cheltenham, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Was there anything at the Dublin Racing Festival that really blew you away that you just thought, oh, I wish, if they were Willie Mullins horse, they were Jigginstown in Gordon's or something? Was there anything that you saw that you thought was massive?
Well, I suppose the obvious one, is Galopin the Champs, but I thought Kopek the Board was very good. Yeah,
it's bizarre how a horse can look like a horse who can't jump one race to the next race, jumping like a stag, Paddy.
Patrick did say though, Mullins in since then, that maybe it tweaked something at the first couple of hurls, and that could have happened. But yeah, it looked very good, like Jack said. For me, yeah, he was awesome.
And Jack, just finally, you've mixed around with jockeys all your life. I mean, are you a party goer? I mean, it might sound silly because I've never thought you are, but what is the real? I don't know. Will the real Jack Kennedy please stand up once the leg is fixed? What's your? I mean, would you be in the hole in the wall in Galway till 3 a.m?
Not if I was riding the next day, but yeah, I like to go out and enjoy myself a bit as well whenever time allows. Yeah.
Who are your jockey friends like? Which are the ones you're close to?
Sam Ewing and Jordan Gainford, Danny Gilligan, Jake Cohn, Conor Walsh. There's a good old group of us there. Yeah, Keith Donoghue, Donna Myler.
You're teaching them plenty, Jack. You're teaching them plenty.
I presume as a good friend, Sam's just given you a little bit of a percentage while you've been off.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet, but he'll want to give me something. Yeah.
And we'll end by just saying, percentage-wise, I know that you've predicted before and you tried too quickly, but you're sat in your car, you say you can walk out of it, you're about to walk into physio, maybe with a bit of a limp. That's not going to matter when you're on top of a horse. I get the feeling from what you're saying is that you don't kind of want to say, I'll make Cheltenham, because then you might not. But it does sound... What sort of percentage would you give yourself now out of 100? What would you think?
I don't know, maybe 75%.
Oh,
that's enough for me.
Go on, Jack.
Jack Kennedy's back. That's the headline.
Yeah.
Obviously, we won't be saying that. But look, genuinely, thank you so much for coming on. I know Paddy really wanted to speak to you. We all want you back because this game is better for you in it. So come back when you're ready. And when you're ready, the one thing you know is the game is waiting for you. So thanks for joining us today.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Jack.
Thanks, mate. Lads.
Sir Gino is in action in the game spirit. We have mentioned this a few times. It's not what you could call an absolute gimme, in that there are some old timers in there, Jellos in there. Or is he just too good?
Oh, I can't wait to watch him, Matt. But if you think of Newbury, right, 2 mile start, it's the most beautiful first fence you'll ever jump in horse racing. There's been a lot of thought gone into this. He'll touch Woody get into a lovely rhythm. Different class.
He's up against Matata, as we've heard from Twisty, Edwardstone, Liberty Hunter. I mean, he's going to have to be slick if Edwardstone goes from the front in this, or Matata will set the gallop, won't he? So
yeah, Matata will set a gallop. But when you're on a horse as talented as Sir Gino, if I underestimated one thing this season, was that race course gallop at Newbury with Constitution Hill. I didn't realise how good the lad was beside him, Matt.
There was a time when you said Loda Sud will win the Arkle. He goes for the Kingmaker. Are you still a fan, or have you changed allegiance to Sir Gino now and Loda Sud's just another horse out there?
Lovely race for Loda Sud. I can't imagine he'd be long odds on. Look, Matt, it's horse racing, that can happen. Loda Sud, I'm a massive fan. I seen him schooling the other day. He looked awesome. But Sir Gino is not the normal horse. Like we spoke to you about Galopin and the Champs. He's found himself going into a Gold Cup that could cut up to the smallest field ever. Whereas Loda Sud is going to have to bump into Sir Gino, Marlborough. It's not going to be easy for him.
Hold on, it's Dan. It's Dan, everyone. It's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Matt.
God, I got a bit worried earlier that the PayPal exchange hadn't come through.
It made it just in time.
Oh, thank God. I'm pleased you're doing it for $7.50 now, though.
You're out by a few quid, but we'll forgive you.
£7.50. Look, sorry to disturb you. Paddy was telling me that you've got a very busy morning. I just wanted to throw a couple of things at you. The new Lion.
Yeah.
Do we have definitively any idea which race he... I mean, you're not going to want to take on Kopek to Bordes now, are you?
Well, we've always been running on the Wednesday until we weren't. The only reason I entered him for the Tuesday is spoke to JP and said that we'd entered just in case it was really, really heavy, and at least it gives us the opportunity to go shorter if we so wish. But there'd have to be a really big reason for us not to run on the Wednesday. Okay, he goes Wednesday. And is he like just where you want him at the moment? Are you really happy with him? Yeah, very, very happy with him. Probably, I'd say he's probably a little bit further forward than I thought. We did 3 up the hill with him yesterday. Harry rode him, and I was a bit taken back at sort of how easy he found it. Because obviously we were giving him quite a bit of, not time off, but he had an easy time after he ran at Newbury. But I'd say he's right where we want him, if not a little bit further forward, which is ideal. At the start of Unbridled, Paddy said Lodersud is the greatest horse in the planet. Now he says Sir Gino is the greatest horse in the planet. Lodersud is nothing horse.
No, I never said that.
You did?
I didn't. I'll go on.
Okay, well, you nearly said it. Lodersud runs this weekend. Have you got another plan other than the Arkle, or whatever happens is the Arkle his race? No, he's definitely, as long as he's okay, he's running the Arkle. Sure? Sure. Okay. And no, like, I know what you mean. You're asking me, am I thinking about skipping it and going to Aintree? No, I'm not, because, like, of course, you've got to have a lot of respect for those 2 5-year-olds. But at the end of the day, we've done nothing wrong either, and, you know, I hope Warwick goes very smoothly, and we can go there and, you know, visually, I don't think there'll be much between them all. Now, of course, those 2 have both won Grade 1 hurdles, which we haven't. So you have to be respectful of that. But, you know, I'm not going into an Arkle thinking that we're beat already. Okay. Now, and I've got to ask you this. You'll appreciate why. It's usually about now that you discover that something has been ailing Langadan. Has anything come to light in the couple of weeks we've got before Cheltenham? Well, apart from you keep asking me, the only thing I've got off Langadan is headache from you. He doesn't give us anything, I'm afraid, Matt, and I am concerned. I'm very concerned. Last year, we gastroscoped him after he ran badly and bled, and he had ulcers. We treated him all year for ulcers, and he's just run very, very, not even average. He's just run way below. I don't know why. I know he's always hard in the winter, but even so, this is way beyond where we could ever hope we should be. We've just got to hope that he turns up. I honestly cannot shed any light on it at all. I am concerned. And does he definitely run in the Stayers Hurdle? Yeah, I mean, I've got to talk to Colum and just see if we make an entry in the Coral, but I can't understand why we would deviate, really, because at the end of the day, he's got to carry a mammoth weight if he ran in a Coral that I just don't think is a realistic situation. But the only thing is if the horse comes back to form, I could trust him to run very, very well and go close in the Stayers Hurdle. If he doesn't come back to form, he isn't going to run any better in a Coral Cup than the Stayers Hurdle and the top weight anyway, because if he doesn't find some form from somewhere, he isn't going to run well in either. But like, he's a weird horse, this is, and everyone's got their opinion, but I cannot tell you how hard he is to train in the winter. Dan, are you good with getting advice from people that you don't really want advice from? Well, Matt, you give me advice regularly. I'm not sure I take it all the time. Well, I've been right 1 or 2 times, to be fair. Luckily, a blind squirrel finds the occasional nut. Okay, well, this is getting very personal now. But just remember, the only reason you've won a Ryanair chase is because of me. So yeah, right. Good. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. But just going back to Langer, you said what reason? Well, they'll go a stronger gallop in the Coral Cup, and he likes coming off a strong gallop. He also comes good in that race by some miracle every year. I would just suggest to you that he's much more likely to win the Coral Cup off a big weight than he's not going to win the Stayers Hurdle. Well, no, it doesn't look like he's going to win either at the moment, though, does it? Yeah, but they're different. I think they're different. Aren't they different types of races? Well, you've got a man sat next to you that probably rode in about 15 of each. He'll tell you better than me. Yeah, but he's so good, Skelton, isn't he? And he's so good. Harry, Tell your brother to run it in the Coral Cup, whatever.
Righto.
Have a good day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh. You know I'm right here. They don't like it when you're right. They really don't. Because you're not in the game and you're just this nobody with a podcast, they don't like it, but they know I'm right. Am I right?
What's he rating now? 160, is he?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? It's all in his head. If he wants to do it, he'll
He ain't
do
going to
it.
give £30 to something, is he?
Okay. Look, we've got to wrap up. Any other horse that you're looking forward to this weekend, or have you done enough for this show?
No, look, it'd be great to see Sir Gino, Le de Sud. Matt, the great thing at the minute is the weather's good. There's lots and lots of racing, so yeah, it's a treat for
It's
everyone.
meant to get a bit cold this weekend, but there was.
Yeah, but there's no danger of racing.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain on that.
I mean, I don't feel the weather's good.
You what?
Well, the weather's good in Dubai, isn't it? It's not here.
We're not in Dubai.
Still not good weather. Just to remind you of those boosts, Ballyburn out to 9 to 4 from 7 to 4 for the Brown Advisory. Champion Chase, Solness 14 from 10 to 1, and Majborough 11 to 4 from 9 to 4. Those with our friends and supporters at BoyleSports. I'm about done, Paddy. You done? I honestly,
Matt,
I feel I've come out of this show quite badly.
I'm done with you.
Yeah, with Jack Kennedy or the 75%. 75%.
Yeah, I know. Look, for everyone going to Cheltenham, to have Jack Kennedy there be fantastic. Watch him win the champion hurl on brighter days ahead. That's what dream comebacks are all about, Matt.
Yeah. For Jack Kennedy and hopefully this podcast, let's hope there are brighter days ahead.